everyone, and welcome back to the show. I am your host, The Vigilante, and I'm back at it with another video. So for today's video, I'm going to be reacting to Nintendo fanboy comments. And if you really enjoy my videos, please give them a like, share, and subscribe. I'm really trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I really need your help. Now, I know this isn't a comment. This was a post from our favorite fanboy, Harmon Smith. I'm going to have two of them. He sat there and said, Westerners cannot produce JRPGs. Well, no shit, they cannot produce JRPGs. Would you like to know why, Harmon Smith? Because if they're produced over here, they're just called RPGs. A JRPG is made in Japan, you fucking idiot. And this is another post from him saying Nintendo is responsible for Microsoft's pricing their games at $80 somehow. Yes, they are responsible. Would you like to know why? Because they started the trend. They took a game, Mario Kart World, which isn't even a AAA price. The AAA pricing was at $70. They went $10 above the AAA pricing. Mario Kart World, or any Nintendo IP, is generally considered between an indie game and a AA game, and they overpriced it. So they showed everybody else that it was okay. Now, it's still Microsoft's fault. Blame Microsoft for following suit. Microsoft didn't have to do that. Microsoft was always supposed to be pro-consumer lately, and now they went against being pro-consumer. I remember saving up Christmas and birthday money to buy a $40, $50 games back in the mid-90s, and those games cost nowhere near the production and time today. Games back in the day cost almost $2 million to make but sold for $50. Now they cost 50 times as much to make but only wanted up 10 to 20 bucks, and that's not even accounting for inflation, where a $50 in 1995 will be equal to $105. To keep the cost of games down despite huge increases in time and production, it's why we got scummy things like microtransactions, or why we are now getting more broad appeal, generic games, because to make money selling it at such a low cost with high production costs, they need to sell a crazy amount of copies, so a niche game is a much bigger risk. For one, Mario Kart World is not a bigger risk. I'm pretty certain that that's what you're referring to. And you know what? Go take that $50 back in the mid-90s. Go take one that was back in the mid-90s. Go take that to a bank and tell them, hey, because of inflation, you need to give me $105 and see what happens. And yes, games do cost more to make nowadays, but you want to know what? You want to know what also is bigger? The market is bigger now compared to the mid-90s. They sell way more copies now than they ever did back in the 90s, so they can sell them a little less. And you can sit there and go on about how, you know, it costs 50 times more to make. The production of making the game is far cheaper than it was. The actual cartridge was very expensive back in the day. I bet you didn't know any of that. Nintendo screws over consumers compared to other companies, sure, maybe, but at least when Nintendo fails, they don't fire all the devs, so they will still keep a profit margin. The CSOs can still make bank. Oh, whoopity-doo. Listen, my wallet does not really care about the devs, because when you sit there and pay for those games, it don't go to the devs, it goes to Nintendo, so there you don't even know what you're talking about. I think all game companies are pretty bad, but if I cared about the evils of whoever I wouldn't own any game systems. I have a Switch and PS5. Okay, congratulations. Is $80 a lot for a game? Yes, well, I would sure fucking hope so it is. But to be fair, I probably played Mario Kart 8 more than 95% of the games I own, because it's a default. I can drink and play with my friends. Congratulations, you don't got to be a follower. Just because your friends want to play doesn't mean you should be paying for it. So my friends are getting the new one, so I will end up getting it as well. Congratulations, you can probably do the... Oh, wait, you can't, because Nintendo Prime did something about it. So you can't even share the game like you thought you could. I never said they care about me, but do you think any game company cares about you or anything else? No, I do not. LOL, and do you not understand how profit margins work? Yes, I understand how profit margins work. Normally, if the cost of creation goes up, then the cost of the consumer goes up. That is not very true. When they have a huge market to sell, they can sell them at a little bit of a less. They can sell those games at $50 and make their profit back. Why do you think Nintendo doesn't release how much the game costs to make? Because people would lose their shit if they sat there and saw how much money they were making. Why do you think the game industry is full of microtransactions and paid DLC like cosmetics? Because they want to make more money, obviously. To keep the cost of the game down, you have to make money in other ways, and $80 games seem less predatory than subsidizing your studio off live service game, or say a loot box game like FIFA. Go look at Marvel Rivals. That's a live service game, and they're making phenomenal money on that game, and they're not screwing over their consumers. Both are bad, but people still buy them, so the industry will make them. Look at GTA Online, made more than any of the other GTA, and FIFA makes more money than any other game EA makes. Okay, congratulations. People enjoy sitting there paying for that live service stuff. Most of us do not. This is Nintendo. We're not talking about them. And I'm bootlicking Yes, you are. Out of all the systems I have the least amount of Nintendo games. They get less of my money compared to Steam and PlayStation. Okay, congratulations, so you know where the better deals are. I just recognize that hating companies is meaningless because people will buy games they can enjoy as long as they can afford it. No, that is not true. People don't recognize that all the time. And I'm not hating on the company. I'm trying to bring awareness to the consumer because not everybody knows about this crap. Free market. If Nintendo does something people really don't like, they will fail, but that doesn't seem to be the case here. No, not always, because people don't understand all the time when they're getting screwed over. I haven't watched your other videos, but are you only hating on Nintendo or the game industry as a whole? I do not sit there and just hate on Nintendo. I've made videos about Microsoft. Well, I just made one video about Microsoft. I can't control. That's the first time since I had this channel that Microsoft has done something that's against consumers. I've also done videos about Sony. It's just right now Nintendo is at the forefront at the moment. But yes, I do sit there and make videos generally about the gaming industry. This is a gaming channel. I will make videos when something is very anti-consumer. This one is coming from none other than Nintendo Prime. By the way, Xbox announced select games will be $80. No exact titles given yet. So this is likely future releases, not existing titles. Yes, because when one company raises the prices, especially when it's a game that's not even at the level of AAA like Nintendo games, the rest are going to follow suit. I am sure the whole internet will totally be rational about this and not blame Nintendo at all. Well, you were thinking, if you thought that, you're an idiot. Then, what am I trying to really say is this $80 price hike was coming regardless of what Nintendo did. It doesn't mean that Nintendo should have done it. These tariffs are hitting tech-based companies really damn hard, and they need to find a way to stay viable in the market. You know, if they would have sold it at $50, they still could have made a profit. Look at Expedition 33, Nintendo Prime. And we got another one from Nintendo Prime. Not surprising, online anger be damned, Switch 2 sales are breaking records. I love how he sits there and says this because he's going to be thinking around the world when it's not. It's Japan. Nintendo stock hit an all-time high in Japan today. The excitement for Switch 2 is in the air. Well, when there is a welfare system in Japan for the gaming industry and we are subsidizing it, of course there will be an all-time sale record, you freaking idiot. By the way, I hate $80 games, but they aren't going anywhere, and it's only going to get worse. Well, with that attitude, of course they're not going fucking anywhere. People have to decide for themselves if what they get entertainment-wise is worth the investment of the money. You know, when they sit there and spend that money, it affects everybody. It screws over everybody. Stop being selfish, Prime, and sit there and stand up for the consumer. Remember, people complaining about $450 for a Switch 2 by 2026 is going to feel like a budget option again. Yes, because it will be an outdated system. What already is going to be an outdated system. Well, that's it for my reaction. If you really enjoyed my video, please give it a like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, stay vigilant.